In this short video I'm going to describe the shape of the Earth as I have come to see it from everything that I've read and seen about flat Earth theory over the last couple of years. And my view of the Earth itself is fairly standard in the flat Earth movement. We live on a flat disk. Here's my very rough impression of that disk. And above the disk is a solid dome called the firmament or the sky, and beneath the disk is another dome. So we live in a ball, but we don't live on the outside of the ball. And the inside of that dome underneath is what the Bible calls the sides of hell. So we'll colour that red for hell. The disk that we are on is suspended above hell by columns, the columns of the earth. Now this really is a fairly standard view of the flat earth model, I think. Most people talk about the dome above, and as above so below, you've got another dome underneath. So just to reiterate, the earth is a ball, but we don't live on the outside of it. Now outside the earth is a cube, and here is my attempt at a cube. The gap between the cube and the ball is heaven. Now just, if that's not clear enough, here's another picture of a ball inside a cube, so you get the idea. Now that cube on the outside, that is what Satanists worship. They worship it as a cube. They depict the cube in many ways. They have large cubes, small cubes. They build cubes, sculptures of cubes in the various satanic headquarter cities around the world, and they make the cube the centre of their entertainment. For example, you've got the puzzle cube in Hellraiser, the Allspark in Transformers, and the Borg spaceships, just three examples. Nearly always horror films and science fiction, always based around cubes. They also represent the cube as a hexagon, which is a two-dimensional representation of a cube as seen from a corner. Now a hexagon and a cube, well, the cube is a six-sided three-dimensional object, and a hexagon is a six-sided two-dimensional object. So you've got 6 and 6. They also represent it as a hypercube or tesseract, because this heaven outside Earth, our 3 dimensions don't exist there. Whether it's 4-dimensional or more, I've no idea, but they use a hypercube to represent this cube as well. So you've got 3 different ways of representing a 6-sided object. So you've got 666, the cube, the hexagon, and the hypercube. And the hypercube is depicted as a cube within a cube, or a cube within a hexagon, or a square within a square, or a box that has been unfolded to form a cross. So whenever you see any of these shapes, a cube, a hexagon, or any form of hypercube, you know that what is being referenced is this cube outside. And I assume that Satanists worship that because they think that Satan is in charge of the cube, and that eventually they're going to help him to become in charge of Earth. So that's it. We live in a ball, but we live on a flat plane somewhere across the ball, and outside is a cube. And if you see a cube, you know that you're watching something that is being created by Satanists. And in this video I haven't included any actual pictures of these cubes and hexagons and tesseracts, because some people are easily offended if you show them a cube that they have been tricked into worshipping and explain that it's a reference to Satan. They can become very irate. So there are many examples on YouTube of cubes and Satanism, and I might do a video on it at some other point, but this is just the message that I wanted to get across. This is the overall schematic of the Earth inside heaven. And if you see cubes or hexagons or hypercubes being pushed at you, you know who's doing it. So there you go. I hope you find that interesting.